Welcome to The Rite of Passage with Vanessa Riley, the podcast where storytelling meets passion and every page turns into a new adventure. I'm your host, Vanessa Riley, and together we'll dive deep into untold histories, reflect on current events through a historical lens, share behind-the-scenes writing insights, and explore the ups and downs of the author's journey. From rich historical novels to unforgettable characters to pop culture's intrusion on the written word, hey, we're going to explore it all. So grab your pen, your notebook, and let's begin our journey through the written word. Let's start your rite of passage. Fire, Frolic, and the fragile threads of humanity. This week I went through a whirlwind of emotions. Yes, whirlwind. That's the word. It's the highs and lows, the unpredictable moments, the shared grief, reflection, and the surprising grace that shaped these past few days. All these feelings, they live in pictures. Picture this, an artist gifted in creating larger-than-life, floral and celebratory installations. Roses, sunflowers, and even huge gift boxes with perfect bows. I found one of her creations buried among the thousands of photos on my phone. I went searching for it after I heard she died, suddenly, of a heart attack. She was in her mid-40s. I'd only seen her 2 or 3 times, but every encounter was vibrant. She was joyful, always present, always tweaking one last detail so that others would take a picture beside her work. Her name was Mary. She made an impact. I looked at the photos and smiled, remembering her smile. This loss was sudden. Mary was a close friend to a friend of mine. Mary was central to my friend's community. When your friend grieves someone central to their world, you grieve with them. And in that shared sorrow, something happens. You become deeply grateful, not just for what you have, but for the very fact that your people are still here. You reflect. You look at your own life and the things you were grumbling about 5 minutes ago suddenly don't matter so much. Perspective shows up, kicks you in the pants, uninvited, but necessary. Then I see another picture, a fire. Not just any fire. The one that consumed Nottoway Plantation, the largest antebellum plantation that was still standing in the United States. A place layered with contradictions, history, and pain. The blaze left it gutted. I studied the photos, the before, during, and after. I watched the memes because TikTok, Threads, and Instagram are unmatched when it comes to irony and reaction. Beyond the satire, there is truth. No one died in the fire. But that doesn't erase the deaths that still haunt that land. The men, women, and children who lived, labored, and died under a brutal system of forced servitude. Some say Nottoway is haunted. It should be. The owners memorialize the slave drivers' quarters. I like to think the spirits of the enslaved were there too, watching the flames, bearing witness as the restored masses' house turned to ash. Nottoway was a tourist site, a wedding venue, a workplace, a symbol. People will be out of work. The state will take an economic hit. These are facts, but there's a deeper truth that sits beside those facts. Nottoway was a sugar plantation, and sugar plantations were among the worst of all plantation systems. I know this because I researched this when I did Sister Mother Warrior and Island Queen. The facts still haunt me. The death rate on sugar plantations in the Caribbean and southern states was 3 to 4 times higher than on a cotton plantation. Enslaved people on U.S. cotton plantations had a life expectancy of about 30 years. On sugar plantations, it was less than 10. The work was brutal. Cutting cane, operating machinery, surviving the suffocating heat of the boiler houses. If you were sentenced to work the boiling vats, it was basically a death sentence. Dehydration, exhaustion, and the relentless heat killed faster than the whip. And that doesn't count the beatings, the rapes, and the starvation prevalent on these places. I made a post about the fire on Instagram. Most responses were respectful, but some fixated on the grandeur lost, as if this were Notre Dame. Others insisted I should get over it, that all the perpetrators are dead, that the world should move on. Let's put a pin in this moving on notion. I'll circle back. Another disturbing image circulating came from stills of Nottoway's scripted tours praising the humanity of the plantation, claiming it trained a nurse and built a hospital for the enslaved. That's a lie. There was no formal training. They likely identified a woman who showed skill with herbs and healing and used her ancestral knowledge. The hospital was not about care. It was about profit. It was cheaper to repair a broken body than buy a new one. These hospitals weren't acts of mercy. They were maintenance hubs for human chattel. One of the worst stories I came across still wakes me up at night. A method of execution used on some sugar plantations. It's called the sugar death. An enslaved person would be buried up to their neck in sand. Then boiling sugar syrup was poured over their exposed skin, usually their head. The syrup burned and blistered, but that wasn't the end. The spilled sugar attracted the ants. The person would slowly die in excruciating pain as ants devoured them alive. It was sadism as spectacle, a warning, a lesson, a horror. How exactly do you get over that? How do you erase the knowledge that human beings chose to do that to others and passed it on generation after generation? How do you get over knowing that given the chance, there are people today who would do the same? But then I saw a final image. This one saved my writing week. It was a photo of Frolic. 2 black women, one in a sleek column dress, the other in a romantic flowing one, running joyfully through a green field in Vatican City. The sun is shining. I imagine the smell of olives in the air and the promise of wine at sunset. Gayle King and Oprah, radiant, laughing, free. That image brought me back to Smiling Mary. Not because it was glamorous, because it reminded me of joy, personal joy. We need joy. We need moments of frolic. In the middle of pain, of grief, of hard histories, we have to fight for joy. We must protect it, speak to it, defend it. Frolicking is resistance. It's choosing self, choosing family, choosing rest, choosing humanity. So yes, mourn. We reflect. We carry reverence for the past, the true past. But we must also touch grass, run barefoot through a field, choosing self, friends, and family. To those who are grieving, I offer this. Find one photo, one memory, one moment that brings you joy. Hold on to it, then look for more, or make more, one moment at a time. Books that can help you focus on joy and history in meaningful ways are Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is a second chance romance that explores grief, healing, and Black joy. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. This is an epic account of the Great Migration, deeply researched and emotionally charged. What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris is a coming-of-age story through the eyes of a young Black girl navigating grief and growing up in 1990s Michigan. The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This is a community of outsiders in 1920 Pottstown, Pennsylvania. They come together around a hidden deaf boy. It's tender, it's full of humanity. It's even funny. And of course, Island Queen. This is a historical novel based on the real-life rise of Dorothy Kirwan Thomas, a woman who rises from enslavement to become one of the wealthiest women in the Caribbean. Sister Mother Warrior, an epic saga of resistance, sisterhood, and revolution, is based on the true story of the women who shaped the Haitian fight for freedom. Show notes include a list of books mentioned in the broadcast. This week, I'm highlighting Hub City Books through their website and bookshop.org. You can find my notes on Substack or on my website, vanessariley.com, under the podcast link in the About tab. If this essay touched you or lit a spark, show some love. Hit like and subscribe to Rite of Passage. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you'll come again. This is Vanessa Riley.